Our top story this morning, the city of Oxnard is looking for real solutions to curb the homelessness crisis, including a permanent year-round shelter. But in the meantime, city council has banned camping in certain parks and public areas in parts of downtown Oxnard. Police can also prohibit someone now from being in a public space if the person has committed an offense such as indecent exposure or being under the influence of drugs. We head to our JD career now at Plaza Park in Oxnard. And JD, where are these folks going if they're not allowed anymore in the parks and in public spaces?
You know, camping may not be allowed, but obviously this is still a place where a lot of the homeless people in town will come in. There's also a local armory in town that allows up to 100 people, but there is one man who has found what could potentially be a small solution to such a big problem.
Plaza Park in Oxnard has become a haven for some of the city's unwanted. The center of town is a go-to place for drug and alcohol abuse. For some, it's the place you go when you've lost all hope.
It's like people just give up, and this is where they end up, and this is what they do.
For the last few years, it's where Marcus Campos has spent his days.
Drinking, lost, not caring, you know what I mean?
But in late July, that would all change. Tears have been replaced with prayers. Beer has been replaced with the Bible. A few weeks ago, his Sunday mornings were completely different.
Probably not even going to sleep yet. From the night before, partying, getting up, doing the same thing over again. So it's a big change.
That feeling of being lost is beginning to vanish as well.
And it just is a sense of peace, and a peace that I can't even explain.
After not speaking to his father for 5 years, Marcus got a call from his uncle that his dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. His father's only wish was that he would get himself cleaned up, and that's what led him here to the Thrive House, a group rehabilitation home. Marcus recalls what it was like when he first moved in.
Having love, you know, in the household, somebody genuinely telling me, you know, are you okay? Do you need anything? Are you all right? And I had that here, and it was weird for me because I'm not used to that.
Thrive House is a nonprofit ministry ran inside the personal home of Pastor Fernie Franco. Because to this pastor, getting guys like Marcus cleaned up and on the right track is personal.
At the age of 18 years old, I had 3 heart attacks on the same night. From an overdose of cocaine, which put me in the intensive care unit for a few weeks, and I almost lost my life. And just been wanting to help other people that was just like me since then.
They live as a family, eat as a family, and every Sunday they serve as a family. Each weekend they load up the van and head off to the church to help set up. This particular Sunday, Marcus had an all too familiar sign of what his life used to be like.
That's what we don't want to be, you know what I mean? And that just puts it into perspective that where I'm at, I'm good, you know? I'm good. I could be in these streets surrounded by people like this, and I'm good where I'm at right now.
Marcus is responsible for setting up the chairs for the church congregation. He wonders what his old friends would say if they saw him now.
Man, what are you doing, man? Like, really? But yeah, really, this is what I'm doing now. So, I mean, you guys can do it too if you want, but it's on you. You gotta make that choice. You know what I mean? I made that choice, and maybe I could inspire somebody.
Lives are healed in the Thrive House.
At this service, he also got a glimpse of what his future could be. Several of his housemates graduated from the program.
That could be me. It gives me hope. It gives me, it inspires me, and it's only the beginning. Graduating the Thrive House just lets me know that after this, God has a plan for me, and after this, I could continue to keep growing. It doesn't have to just stop at graduation.
Number one is gratitude, amen. Having a heart of gratitude, amen. Not forgetting where you come from.
The highlight of his days comes during the group recovery sessions, led by his uncle, the same uncle who called him about his dad, who 30 years ago went through a similar program.
Some people struggle more than others, but I was just tired of the lifestyle. I was just tired of using, and I needed a change in my life.
Marcus does have an uphill battle, but he doesn't have to go it alone.
Well, I hope the best for him. All I can do is encourage him, try to help him with whatever physical things he may need, but it's up to him to get a hold of the Word of God and allow change to take place in his life.
One person represents multiple people, and so I just feel like God, somebody has to do it, you know, and I want to be one of those people who can offer some kind of help.
Because sometimes having someone believe in you is all it takes. Marcus says that's more than enough.
Every day I wake up like, man, today's gonna be better than it was yesterday. And I wasn't living like that. I haven't lived like that in years. My life used to be like, man, how am I gonna get out of this situation today? You know, and I would fall back. I would, you know, use or drink or do whatever I was doing. And I don't have to live like that no more. I don't live like that no more. I don't feel like that no more. I get up like, man, what good thing's gonna happen today? And it feels good. It feels good.
I had a chance to speak with Pastor Fernie, and he said that Marcus is doing great. There hasn't been any relapsing, and he also meets with his dad every day after church to have lunch.
That is just such a great story. So who is eligible to get into the Thrive House, JD?
And so essentially they work on a case-by-case basis with both men and women. Pastor Fernie's wife runs the women's part of this ministry upstairs inside of their house. There is only one sort of no-go that they have, is that if anybody has committed anything that would end up have them on the Megan's Law list, which is for child sex offenders, because they are very close to a nursery. And so essentially they work, again, on a case-by-case basis. And if it's people like Marcus that the pastor and the ministry believes that has that want and desire to change, you know, they will allow that person to come into the 12-month program.
Mm-hmm. And I'm motivated by that pastor. You pay it forward because of his own experience, he had that deep empathy and need to give back. Thank you, JD.
Inspiring story, JD. Thank you.
Inspiring story.
Organizations like this, Giselle, we see it time and time again, Melvin, more impactful many times than government agencies.
Oh,
no doubt about it.